So let's move on to the Ronda stuff. What did you want to say?
Because well, first of all, the biggest thing you were wrong about in that video that you showed was that the Packers would win anything and they had home field advantage. But that's neither here or there.
That's not in the video.
Yeah, well, you have on your Packer stuff. That's in that video. Just for me, a chance for me to bust your chops. The one thing that at least I've been saying, and like I thought this was a guarantee, like the almost eliminations was, that it would be Ronda and Becky. This has been like always said. It's Ronda and Becky. Of course, it's the one person that beat you, and she's gonna choose Charlotte.
Yep.
My God, weren't we all on this page about that it was going to be? Is this like a recent change? They said, let's forget this, and we're going to be stuck with Bianca and Becky again?
No, it's super, super, super late. So lots of factors go into this. First of all, Ronda Rousey has worked 15 months of a 3-year deal, right? Her deal is 3 years, but the 3rd year is optional. Now, once Ronda Rousey works 9 months on this deal, WWE are going to have to exercise the 3rd year option. And now they clearly know that Ronda Rousey doesn't want to work the 3rd year past WrestleMania. So once we've done 9 months on this deal and we're at the Rumble, WWE are going to have to pay Ronda Rousey the $2 million to work for 4 months. That's the risk that they take. That's the risk that they've taken. Well, not the risk they've taken. That's the concession that they've made. Ronda Rousey is going to work 2.5 years, and she's going to get 6 months to sit at home. She's going to get full pay.
Wow.
That wasn't thrashed out until before. Here's another interesting tidbit. When they went over to California to speak to Ronda, Shane and Stephanie went instead of like Triple H and Stephanie, who usually negotiate with Ronda and whatnot. So a lot of people think Shane and Stephanie don't speak or whatever, but they did go over and see Ronda. So once Ronda had her first interactions with Vince when she came back, a lot of other stuff was thrashed out. And one of the things was Ronda Charlotte. Now, the original plan was to do Ronda Becky twice. Okay. So Ronda Rousey would win at this year's WrestleMania. She'd get her win back. And then Becky would get the final win in Cali next year. That would be the plan. So
a year later, Jesus.
You get 2 matches out of it, because the idea was that Ronda would get a win over Becky, not lose to Becky last year, not work with her this year, and then lose again on her way out.
Yeah.
So she's going to lose and not get any wins over Becky, which is at the moment, that's the plan anyway. Things can change, but that is all Ronda's doing, because this is at Ronda Rousey's request. And there's contrasting reports out there that it was Fox that requested Ronda Rousey. Even if they did, at the moment, Fox are getting Brock Lesnar, and next year, Fox are likely to be the recipients of The Rock. So for them to say, we want Ronda Rousey too, that wouldn't have been granted on the basis that WWE felt like they owed Fox something else, because NBC ain't getting anything here at the moment other than the fact that they currently had Becky, who Fox like. But Ronda, upon coming back to the WWE, made the request that she wanted to work on SmackDown. She wanted to be in the same locker room as Shayna Baszler. She wanted to be in the locker room with Natalya, her 2 best friends at WWE. And she wanted to work with Charlotte, who is also a good friend of hers. And she feels like her best match that she had in her last run was with Charlotte. So she feels like her and Charlotte should be a WrestleMania match rather than doing 2 years in a row with Becky. And this has been granted by the WWE. Ronda is also in there talking about the possibility of putting Roderick Strong on SmackDown and bringing back Marina Shafir. So she's not been like holding back in saying, this is what I want, this is what I'd like, can you do it for me? And the significance of that is Marina Shafir is one of her best friends, and Marina Shafir is married to Roderick Strong, who is also one of her best friends. Or obviously,
I was wondering what the hell she had to do with Roderick Strong. I'm like, what the hell does she care where he
married?
Is? Yeah. Okay.
So he doesn't like.
Apparently not. I think it puts Ronda in a bad look situation because Becky came out there as like a good guy going, pick me. I beat you once. It wasn't the scared, oh God, I hope you don't pick me thing until she was like in an arm bar, which was horrible. But I was like, pick me. And now she's not going to pick her. So it's going to be, look, she's scared of me and, she can't beat me. So I think it just puts her in a bad light.
And here's the other thing, and here's the indicator of how late this was made, and why I couldn't even report it in time for the last Inform. Not that I would, because I refused to give any news out on the last show, out of respect for myself. But Becky and Charlotte have traded places in stories. So Lita, who set up a feud with Charlotte, is now going to be working with Becky, so that Charlotte doesn't have to do anything else but focus on Ronda. So otherwise, it would have been Charlotte who they were keeping busy throughout the WrestleMania period, and Ronda would have chosen Becky, and they could have just traded promos and whatever they did, and mainly focused on setting up that match. And now the direction is going to be to announce Charlotte, and then to keep Becky busy, so Becky gets the Lita match instead, even though they already set that up with Charlotte. So yeah, 100%. They were doing Becky versus Ronda, and it's at Ronda Rousey's request that I want to be with my buddies. I want to work with this person. Can you hire back my other friends? Like, she has a lot of power coming back into this situation, because it's weird. She couldn't actually, I don't think it ever would have come to this, but she couldn't actually have sat at home and not done 9 more months with WWE unless she turned around and said it on medical grounds that she couldn't physically do anything again. Then you can null and void a contract. But at some point, she owed WWE 9 months of competitiveness, right? She owed them 9 months. Now, I don't think that WWE felt confident they could have held her to that, because there's a lot of ways to get out of these things nowadays with mental health or a physical issue. But if she'd gone down that route, and she decided to go and fight in MMA, or she decided to go to AEW or wrestle in Japan or anything like that, then WWE would have sued her for not wrestling those final 9 months. So for Ronda to do that and to not come back and do this final year, then she would have left herself out of commission for all things in MMA and combat sports. Other than movies, I think would have been the only thing she could have done. So she had to really come and do this. But it's weird that WWE felt like she still had all the power. So I guess it kind of shows, what this kind of reveals to us is that WWE contracts, they're scary to your wrestlers that have come through the wrestling business and don't have lawyers and agents and things. But they sure as hell ain't scary to Ronda Rousey. Now, Ronda Rousey's coming in here for the money. She's coming in to get an extra $2 million to do a light schedule for the rest of this year. And it's actually going to be $4 million, because she's going to work into the 3rd year all the way to WrestleMania. So she's coming out well in this deal. I'm just very surprised, and it says a lot about her ego, that she's turned around and gone, I don't care about beating Becky. I don't care about getting my win back and then losing to her. I want to have this really good match with Charlotte, who's my friend, and I don't have any friends on Raw other than Liv Morgan, but I'd rather be with Shayna, Natty, Charlotte, and please bring Roderick Strong over to SmackDown, and please hire back his wife. Like that's what she wants to do. So
it's a lot of pull. It's going to be interesting seeing in Saudi, Lita, the woman who's known for having her thong hanging out. Now she's got to wear a whole trash bag to hide everything and cover up, as all the women do with long, giant shirts. And God forbid you see a curve. Last thing before we're out of here. I'm not sure. Did we mention about Riddle winning the Rumble? Did we ever talk about that?
We did that at the start, I believe, when I was explaining how it wasn't ever on the table.
All right. Is there anything to add? Otherwise, we've wrapped everything up. The big story is with this Ronda thing, which that is surprising that she's like got that much pull. Like, to hire someone back, that's big pull.